Congratulations, you've made it to your capstone course in the Radiologic Technology program. I will now guide you through the ARRT Radiography Certification Handbook and Application Materials for 2009. The sooner you apply to take the registry, the sooner you can schedule your exam appointment and be on your way in your new career. Let's get started. If you open your handbook, you will see that there's a lot of information in this document. It may seem a little overwhelming and difficult to find what you really need to know for the application process. We are provided with a brief but informative history of the ARRT as an organization. Although this may seem to be a pitch for your money, take the time to read it. As our professional governing body, it is important to see where we came from and where we are going as a profession. Other information that we will discuss in more detail include eligibility requirements, the application process and procedures, how to make an appointment for your exam, what to expect on exam day, and what happens when you hit submit after the exam. In order to be eligible for the ARRT certification exam in radiography, we pledge to promote high standards of patient care and to enforce standards of ethics. As a candidate for this exam, you must report any conviction of a crime. This includes felonies and misdemeanors. The only exceptions to the rule are parking or speeding tickets. You do not have to report offenses that were committed as a juvenile and that were adjudicated through the juvenile court system. You must have successfully completed a program or formal education in radiography that is accredited by a recognized mechanism. Since you are watching this presentation, you are about to be. Our program is accredited by the JRCERT, which is an approved mechanism, and you will graduate on August 17th. So you definitely meet this requirement. The exam is designed to meet specific content specifications that are available in the handbook. Please refer to Appendix D, as in dog, to guide you in your studies during this capstone course. The ARRT owns the exam content. Don't try to remove any exam materials or reproduce questions from memory. You could lose your certification. Now let's fill out your form. There is a form in the back of the handbook that you have received during the class. You can receive an additional form by contacting the ARRT Customer Service Office. The first thing you need to do, if you haven't done this already, is to have a passport quality photograph made. You can do this at Walgreens or Kinko's or many other places for about $8. These can be black and white or in color, but they have to be you and they have to look like you. Don't wear a hat, visors, or glasses, or anything that masks your appearance. Just go, spend the $8, and get a nice picture. The fee for your exam is $150. I hope that you've been budgeting for this throughout the past year. I really don't recommend delaying the exam for any length of time, especially for economic reasons. The knowledge that you've gained in the past 2 years will start to slip away as you start working and stop studying. If you have to reapply, it is $125. These are not refundable and they're not transferable for another discipline. Mail your application up to 3 months before graduation, so in other words, any time now. If you think you will require an ethics review, get the application in the mail as soon as possible. Once your application is processed, you'll get a Candidate Status Report, or CSR. You need to allow up to 4 weeks for processing, although it doesn't usually take this long. You may schedule your exam for any time during a set exam window. The window generally begins on the Wednesday after your application is processed, and it extends 90 calendar days. If your application is processed before graduation, and it should be, the window opens on graduation day. The window will close after 90 days. If you miss your appointment, you lose your money. You can get an extension if you apply for one in writing before your window expires. Pearson VUE administers tests for the ARRT. You can find a list of testing centers in Appendix E of the handbook or go to the website www.pearsonvue.com/ARRT. If you need testing accommodations, please submit a request with your application, and these forms are on the ARRT website, www.arrt.org. Your CSR will be mailed to you by the ARRT. This document contains your identification information, your ARRT ID number, and exam window dates. Let the ARRT know right away if any of your information is incorrect. Your exam window shows the dates when you can take your exam. After it expires, you must reapply and a new fee is required. If you have requested testing accommodations, this information is also included with your CSR. Incomplete applications are returned to you. Most often, the applicant has left out some pertinent information. Also, make sure that you have the program director sign your application, so I'm accountable too. If you're found ineligible for any reason, you'll be notified by the ARRT and you will not be allowed to take your exam. You can appeal this decision and you can reapply. See the handbook for more information or contact me and we'll figure out the next step for you. Pearson VUE schedules appointments on a first-come, first-served basis. As soon as you get your CSR, decide on the date and schedule your exam. You will need your CSR in hand to schedule. If you missed your appointment for any reason, you forfeit your application fee. So be sure to call to cancel or reschedule 24 hours before your appointment. You will get an email confirmation for any appointment changes. So you reached your big day. Pearson VUE provides testing for many other organizations, so it won't be just future RTs in the testing center. Be courteous of other exam candidates. The exam center may be too cool or too warm, so dress accordingly with a sweater or jacket. You can request earplugs to keep outside sounds from distracting you. Make sure you arrive at the testing center early. Map your route so that you can get to the center at least 15 minutes before your exam time so you can check in and go to the bathroom. If you arrive 15 minutes late, you may forfeit your appointment and you will forfeit your money. You need 2 forms of identification with a pre-printed name and signature, and one must be a government-issued photo ID. Make sure that the name on your ID matches the one that you put on your application. If you don't have a proper ID, you won't get to take your exam, and guess what? You'll lose your money. You'll be electronically fingerprinted and photographed for identification purposes, and this information remains confidential. After you check in, you're assigned to a testing station. You're given an erasable noteboard and pen, and you can use the calculator on the computer. Don't try to bring any scratch paper or your personal calculator. If you need any assistance with your equipment, just raise your hand. Your behavior is very important. Make sure you have acceptable identification. Don't try to take the test for someone else. Don't try to help other examinees. Don't make personal phone calls. Don't eat or drink during the test. Follow all the rules listed in the handbook and as instructed by the personnel at the testing center. Any irregular behavior can get you into big trouble with the ARRT and keep you from becoming an RT. You just worked really hard for 2 years and it would be a shame to lose it all now. The questions on your exam will be in random order and they're multiple choice. Most of them will have one best answer. Some may ask you to sort options into a particular order. Some may ask you to identify anatomy with the cursor. You can look at Appendix G in the handbook for more information. You can also flag any answers that you aren't sure of so that you can review them at the end of the exam. Be sure you pace yourself and be sure you answer every question. When you're done with your exam, you'll see a preliminary scaled score. This is not the final confirmation of passing your exam. You cannot print this score at the testing center. Follow all the instructions on your screen, because once you exit the preliminary score screen, you can't go back. After verifying eligibility, you will get your final scores and certification results in the mail. It takes about 2 to 4 weeks after you take the exam. If you do not have them after 4 weeks, call the ARRT. If you don't pass the exam, you may submit a reapplication with a fee and try again. You have 3 years and 3 attempts. If you don't pass the first time, please feel free to contact me, and we can work on a plan to help you do better. Congratulations! You've earned your ARRT certificate. You're now a registered technologist and you can put the initials RT after your name. To keep this certificate, all you have to do is renew your registration annually, and you can do this by mail or online. You will also be required to fulfill continuing education requirements beginning with your next birth month after passing your registry. Be sure to read through the handbook, fill out your application and sign it, and make sure you attach your photo and your fee. Good luck on your exam, and good luck with your summer capstone course.